SFL is loading legendary announcements. Stay tuned. The SFL is loading legendary announcements. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Season 10 and our major announcements. Let's go! Alongside me tonight is the one and only Chris Curtis. How you doing, Chris?
Fantastic. Pretty excited for we're about to reveal some things that the SFL's been working on all offseason. This is a legendary announcement, pun intended.
Well, we've got a couple. We're going to start with one, and we're going to kind of tease it a little bit, and then we're going to explain it. But I don't think you'll have to go far. You'll find out soon enough. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the future of sim football. Ladies and gentlemen, the SFL is proud to announce its partnership with APM Music. Music licensing leader becomes league's title sponsor. Curtis, before I move on, come on, how cool was that? Hey, Curtis, why don't you tell him again because I had you muted like an amateur.
Nice work. Nice work. It's great. APM Music, they, as you mentioned, they become a title sponsor for the SFL. They have a lot of different variety that they add to an already very dynamic SFL presentation, and it really is going to expand the experience, I think, when everyone hears everything that they have to offer and what they can offer the league as a whole.
Let's get into the details of this major announcement. The Simulation Football League and APM Music are proud to announce a one-year agreement with APM Music to become the SFL's title sponsor, making the SFL officially the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, the SFL presented by APM Music for short. APM Music becomes the SFL's first title sponsor in league history. The company will be featured prominently on the SFL's front page Twitch broadcasts and will have a weekly YouTube segment in the works promoting the best sounds of the week in the SFL. APM Music is the exclusive music licensor of the NFL Films music library. As the leading music resource to the video game and sports industries, we are very excited to partner with the SFL in this groundbreaking entertainment format, said Rob Carnes, Director of Business Development, New Media, and Digital at APM Music. With the partnership, the SFL's new theme music will consist of over 2 hours of music composed by Tom Hedden and Tom McWilliams. Hedden has won 5 Emmys, and his composition, Sprint Right, serves as the NFL's league theme and musical logo for all NFL game broadcasts. McWilliams, who's proud and excited to have his music serve as the theme for the SFL, works as a music editor for NFL Films and has won Emmy Awards for his work on HBO's Hard Knocks. A little bit about APM Music. APM Music is the world's leading creative music house and production music library, renowned for the unique quality and range of music. With over 50 diverse libraries, APM Music has the largest, deepest, and most detailed broadcast music collection in the industry. Over 500,000 tracks produced by the industry's most respected and admired libraries. APM Music provides a full range of music services, including music replacement services, custom scoring, and music director assistance to help you find the best tracks for your production. For more information, visit apmmusic.com. So, Curtis, this partnership came about because APM Music wants to get into the esports space. If you're a content creator out there and you are wanting professional quality music for your esports broadcast and presentation, look no further. Contact APM.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic support system that they have given to the SFL, not only with audio, but also with the audio that we're using now, but also with anything in the future, because it creates a partnership there that could go for a long time. Very excited as a part of the SFL to obviously be working with them, and the strings have been pulled, and they have given us the resources to make a really awesome thing for season 10.
We're not done yet. We're just getting started here. Chris, what do you say? Should we share with everybody what the Twitch theme is going to sound like?
Yeah, why not? I think that's a good idea.
All right, SFL.
This is my favorite of the two.
SFL on Twitch coming up. And there you have it. And this time I won't keep Curtis muted or waiting. So, Curtis, with that said, we've got our two themes, but this is just the beginning, right? We've got
Yeah.
hours upon hours of different renditions and different music. I mean, these are Emmy Award winners. These are Hard Knocks and NFL films, and this is what it's all about, right? This is about legitimizing a product and APM's belief in this product being legitimized, and we can't thank them enough for for them coming on board.
No kidding. Yeah, huge thank you to APM for them providing us with those kind of tools. That's insane. Just kind of give you guys a heads up as the whole process here, the way it kind of went down. We got the music, and then I got to give a huge shout out to Andy Hamilton, Vancouver Legion owner and also fellow broadcaster. Him, myself, and Cam basically got together on Skype over 3.5 hours and went through everything that they had to offer and really just picked and chose which parts of each song over 3.5 hours that made sense for season 10 and beyond. So it was a lot of fun. I love working with these guys and love working with the tools that APM gives us.
All right, well, we've got one other major announcement before we head off to playoff land, I guess. So we'll get to that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to announce that Twitch will broadcast 5 games to the front page in Season 10. Oh yeah! Oh yeah, baby! Did you watch MasterChef, Curtis?
I know exactly what you're referencing.
Baby
yes.
doll, baby doll, right? Right? Dino, look it up, y'all. Look it up. 5 front page games on Twitch. Let's get to the details. Following the success of the SFL Championship game on Twitch's front page in October, esports program leaders have increased the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music's reach to 5 games in Season 10 as the league works towards Twitch partner status. Our relationship with Twitch esports program leaders led by Blake Toll has been a tremendous blessing. To be able to showcase our product to hundreds and thousands of people, to have validation that all this hard work, all the lessons learned since we began conceptualizing the Sim Football project way back in 2009 is an opportunity we will capitalize on in major ways. After the championship game reached over 40,000 views, peaking at 1,141 viewers late in the first half, the SFL estimates its reach over the next 4 months will be roughly 150 to 200,000 new viewers, launching the SFL into the stratosphere of exposure. The league's newest partnership with APM Music will only add to the legitimacy and give validation to companies that the SFL is a place where they can grow their business. There is no other esports project that puts you directly into the action, that has everyone invested in what is happening on the screen while giving you the freedom to participate on your phone, from your couch, with friends and family. Never underestimate what it means to be a star. We help make you one right here at the SFL. Twitch will front page the Season 10 kickoff game between the 4-time champion Queen City Corsairs and the defending champion Mexico City Aztecs on Thursday, January 4th at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Twitch will also showcase Wild Card Wednesday's doubleheader, spoiler alert, March 28th, the SFL Championship game in April, and the league's first user-based Pro Bowl in May, plus a yet-to-be-named mid-season clash prior to the roster transaction deadline in week number 8. If your business would like to advertise on the SFL Network front page broadcast in Season 10, contact me. You know where to find me. My number's on the website for sponsorship and pricing opportunities. Curtis, 5 games on the front page, and having a title sponsor. This, my friend, is what taking a small project and turning it into one of significance is all about.
We said it during the schedule reveal show a few weeks back that that this was going to be a landmark season 10 for the SFL, and these couple of announcements here have really pushed us to where that there's really no way it can go wrong. It's very, very good work and huge dedication by everybody in the back between DPP, Cam, Andy, and who has done things outside of just broadcasting, and everybody else who has decided to put their hard work into it. Ryan Motes as well. Just so much has gone into this, and it's really, really paying off. Not just for the, just to see the product grow, but also because it's getting more people the opportunity to see what the SFL can do for them in the sense of getting them involved in an esports type environment. So a lot of fun to be had, but also a lot of real big stuff is coming in season 10. I cannot wait to get started.
So, Curtis, you do a lot of stuff, a lot of streaming on Twitch. We made our debut on the front page it seems like forever ago, right? But it was less than 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And obviously had some very tiny minor hiccups, but for the most part, I think everyone was blown away with the response, including Twitch, who's happy that we're cheap entertainment for their front page and that the viewership stacked up to some of the much more well established and I guess legitimate, not that we're not legitimate, but you know what I mean, with big money behind it. The viewership was right there in that range. You've been on Twitch for a long time. You came into the SFL last season. This trajectory, right? The at the pace that we're moving with our relationship with Twitch, and companies and sponsors and all that stuff is where does that fit on the spectrum? You've seen a lot of Twitch channels and Twitch streamers.
I've seen a lot of Twitch channels and Twitch streamers just come in. They do well for a month and a half, and they just kind of wither away because they don't offer a dynamic product. The SFL offers that dynamic product that I think is going to keep it around for a long time and continue its upward trend, even if it slows down in growth a little bit. Because I mean, astronomical growth like we saw between the where we were and then the SFL championship game. In realistic expectation wise, we can't really expect that all the time. With that said, it still will grow. There still will be new eyes on it. And as you said, the 150, I think it's the 150 to 250K range in viewers reached. I think that's a very, very realistic expectation for new eyes on the product, new people in the Discord to interact with. It's going to be a ballooned community by, I think, just a couple weeks into the season. We could be looking at even bigger numbers in the Discord, on the YouTube channels, and on Twitch. It's going to be a lot of fun to see that grow, and it'll be especially chilling because when I got here, season 9, the growth is monstrous. There's nothing that can mimic it the way I see it.
So, Curtis, you know what this means, right?
What's that?
This means that if you're a player and you haven't logged in a while, you better be careful because there's a whole bunch of other people coming for your spot.
Absolutely. It's going to be absolutely imperative that players remain active because there's going to be, there's 218 user players right now, but there's more than that, the Discord, that want to take those spots if available. So that's something, make sure you're keeping involved with your team, make sure you're keeping logged in and supporting your team in all of its ventures because there's a lineup of people outside the door just kicking to get in.
All right, so to recap, the SFL has
216,
the SFL has entered a partnership with APM Music. Music licensing leader becomes league's title sponsor, and Twitch will broadcast 5 front page events in season 10, including the SFL's first Pro Bowl and opening night on January 4th, that Thursday, which actually happens to fall between the college football semifinals and championship, and between the last week of the NFL regular season and the start of the NFL playoffs. So it's right in that sweet spot of football, and we can't wait to get our season kicked off here just in now 2.5 weeks. Pretty incredible. With that said, let's move on to the SFL's reveal of the playoff format. the SFL playoff structure is as follows for Season 10. 10 teams, Curtis, will make the playoffs in Season 10. Here's how it works. The top 2 teams from each conference will advance to the quarterfinals. Conference champions are guaranteed a top 4 spot. Seeds 7 through 10 can come from any conference and will face off on Wild Card Wednesday to advance. So here's what that looks like. The Wild Card round on Wednesday, March 28th will see seeds 7 through 10 and seeds 8 through 9 play for the right to advance to the quarterfinal round. This is a brand new event to the SFL, and the Wildcard Wednesday will actually fall in between Week 12 and the first week of the postseason. There is no bye for the first 6 teams. There's just an extra game that the bottom 4 have to play to continue their playoff journey. Curtis, is this your first time hearing about that? I believe it is.
Yeah, as far as the actual playoff structure, I knew there was 10 teams coming in, but I wasn't sure exactly how the rounds would work. But this makes for an interesting dynamic going into the late season, because really you're going to have a priority making sure you're not one of the bottom 4 seeds, because you want that bye if you can do it. Keep your players rested, keep your players ready and healthy. And if you have to play that extra game, that kind of throws that all out the window. Granted, you'll be game worn and ready to go, but I mean, that fatigue late in the season, that can really, really hurt some guys.
It's the fatigue for the actual people that are working, right?
Yeah.
That's
for sure.
We don't, the NFL, you get fatigue when you're physically tired, right? This is a mental game. I got to prep. I got 3 days to prep for my wild card opponent, and then if I win, I got 3 days to prep for one of the top, one of the best teams in the whole entire league. If you're not top 2 in your conference, you better prove that you belong.
Yeah, absolutely. And this gives you the dynamic. This gives you the place to do that, to prove that you belong in that elite tier teams. And if you are faltering, if you are slacking in any way, you will see it be a direct result when you end up in the bottom 4 and you have to prep for two games in 6 days.
So here's how it looks once the teams have advanced. Okay, you've got the wild card winners playing the number 1 and the number 2 seeds. Those games will be Monday, April 2nd. That's the day after Easter. The 4-5 and the 3-6 matchups will be Saturday, March 31st. That's the day before Easter. So Easter weekend is the SFL quarterfinals, and that shows how the wild cards advance. You've got the top 4 teams getting the quarterfinal home playoff game. 3 of those 4 teams will be conference champions. And then you've got, obviously, the top 6, right? If you're in the top 2 of your conference, regardless of anything else, you are into the dance, similar to how the NFL does its division winners, where the division winner gets an automatic spot in the postseason and a first-round home playoff game. Obviously, that's good for our conference champions, but if you're second in the conference, you will also get an automatic bid, but not necessarily home field advantage in the playoffs. So, top 10 in season 10. That's going to be a theme here, Curtis, as we go through this. And
yeah.
we obviously want to explain everything in detail. We've got everything laid out for you here tonight. So here's a look at determining the top 2 in conference, right? These are tiebreakers that are specific to determining conference seeding, for lack of a better word, right? Your first is head-to-head. Your second is your conference record. Your third is strength of conference victories. And your fourth is conference point differential. Tiebreakers refer back to step 1 after a team is eliminated. So, Curtis, essentially what this is saying is that if, let's say, Indianapolis and Tulsa are trying to determine who gets the number 2 seed in their conference, right? The number 2 automatic bid in their conference. These are the tiebreakers they're going to use, and it's all about how you performed in conference. So when you're talking about these top 6, these top 2 spots in each conference, these are the tiebreakers that matter. And a lot of the past, conference record hasn't been a tiebreaker. Point differential was very high. up the mark. Now these conference games to determine some of the most important spots in the bracket are all about your conference opponents.
Not only that, but you are obviously going to play more conference opponents than you will non-conference opponents. And really, if you can take care of business in your conference, you need not worry about necessarily your non-conference play, other than for your overall record to make sure you're in a tie-breaking scenario. When your seeds, the last four seeds, that's where the cross conference play is really gonna matter. And since that's been introduced during the schedule reveal, it's gonna make for some very good matchups between teams from, say, the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, for instance. And it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. It's gonna make some very awesome storylines for us to follow, not only as fans but as broadcasters. And this is a new dynamic that we did not see, for example, in season 9, where basically everybody played within their own conference and it was fine.
And all the tiebreakers were in, against conference opponents as well. Well,
Right.
in this bracket, in this single league bracket, you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? Conferences are really important, but it's also important that you keep track of what everyone else is doing around the league, because if you get a top 2 spot in your conference, seeded 1 through 6, where are you going to end up? You could end up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You don't know, and your tiebreakers are going to be against teams from different conferences. So how are we going to determine tiebreakers between seeds and teams from different conferences? Well, first it's a head-to-head. Then it's a common games record. Have these teams played the same opponents, and have they is the record different, right? If some team in the
Have
West
they beaten teams that you've lost to?
exactly, if some teams played in the is in the West, they played a team in the East, and they're trying to break a tie with an Eastern Conference team. Well, now that non-conference game that either won or lost could be instrumental in winning that tiebreaker. Strength of victory is the third tiebreaker, right? So this is, who have you beaten? If you've beaten the biggest boys on the block, the baddest boys on the block, that's more impressive than I kind of equate it to. And this is straight out of the NFL tiebreakers, by the way. I equate it to a win. A great college win is better than a bad loss, right?
Oh yeah.
And in this case, in the SFL, if you lose to a team that's 1-11, but you beat a team that's 11-1, that's going to help you. That's going to help prove, hey, you can play the best of the best in this league. Okay, if that is tied, then it goes to strength of schedule, which obviously that cross conference comes into play big there, right? You may need to win a tiebreaker. You may need a team from another conference that you played earlier in the season. You may need them to keep winning. You want them to keep winning, because that only boosts your strength of schedule. And then finally, I don't know how we wouldn't be able to have a tiebreaker broken after all that. But season point differential is good. Should take care of all that stuff. And if there's a 6th tiebreaker, we're going to fly the 2 people out to the middle of the country. We're going to both give them boxing gloves, and we're going to film the whole thing, right? Because it's the only other way. I mean, how else would you break a tie, Curtis?
You know what? I think we can title that stream 12 rounds to the playoffs at that point.
Yeah.
So that'll work.
There you go. There you go. Or like a hardcore rock, paper, scissors, where like if you lose, you get popped in the face, right? Like yeah. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, right? But that is the gist of the tiebreakers. Now there is a note here. In the event of a 3-way tie between teams battling for seeding, if 2 of those teams are from the same conference, after the head-to-head tiebreaker, the conference the 2 teams in conference must be broken, because we need to find out who is actually better, from the better representation from that conference. So if head-to-head is all tied amongst 3 teams tied with 2 from the same conference, the next tiebreaker is breaking the tie between the 2 conference teams, and that reverts back to the conference tiebreakers. So yeah, it's all, it's Jumanji at this point, right? But we promise top 10 in season 10 is going to be a graphic that you are going to see a lot, especially late in the season on SFL broadcast. That will have your updated tiebreakers and just all of it, right? It's going to have everything that you need to know to make sure that your team is in the position to succeed. But Curtis, it's pretty simple, right? Just get top two in your conference, and you don't have to worry about it, right?
Just win, baby. That's all
Just
it takes.
win, baby.
Just win, baby. Keep it simple, stupid. That's basically what it comes to. And don't put yourself in those tie-breaking scenarios, and you will be fine. But just make sure you're somewhere in the mix when the dance comes, and you will hopefully be dancing for a decent length of time. So huge stuff with the playoff format reveal. A lot of fun coming, and a lot of very interesting scenarios I could see. I mean, we could obviously fly somebody out and just start having them box together. It would be very entertaining.
A reminder, the week one schedule starts January 4th at 7 p.m. The Queen City Corsairs and the Mexico City Aztecs take center stage. There are currently 5 games slated for the 3 p.m. slot, 2 for the 5 p.m., and then 1 Monday night, Indianapolis and San Francisco. One of those afternoon games will be flexed in to the week 1 prime time slot, and that vote will go down after the new year when we elevate a matchup in the prime time. Curtis, initially, what's the matchup that you would most like to see move up from the afternoon slots into the evening on Sunday night?
To tell you the truth, I'm taking a look and I'm really, really liking that. Well, there's 2 that I really like. One of them is going to be Vancouver and Alaska. I like putting that matchup in prime time in any spot, really. And then the other one that I was looking at was giving the expansion roster a spot with London and Atlanta, and having London travel west to Atlanta, Georgia would be an interesting matchup to say the least, especially getting their first game in as a franchise would be a very entertaining matchup to say the least.
So one of those games will move into prime time. We'll find out exactly what that is going to be in a little while. I will be doing the Sunday night broadcast. I will also, in week 1, be doing opening night. My color band for opening night on the front page of Twitch yet to be determined. I'm still pondering, still wondering what that is all going to look like. But either way, should be a fun time when Queen City and Mexico City kick off. That I have never been more excited for a season opener than this one.
No kidding. No kidding. Should be a lot of fun. Whoever's on the call with Cam is going to be in for a ride. There's no doubt about that. As it always is when you're on a call with Cam, whether he's doing color or play by play. But it's but especially in that scenario, in with the season 10 opener, it's going to be fun. Don't miss that.
Well, Curtis, thanks for being here. Just a quick recap. The SFL presented by APM music. You're going to hear that a lot. You are going to hear that a lot throughout the entire course of the season, and APM music is going to be all over our website here in just a couple of minutes when it goes through a little mini transformation there. We also announced that we will have 5 front page broadcasts on the front page of Twitch in season 10, with potentially more down the road as we move towards Twitch partnership. And we also unveiled the playoff format. The Wild Card Wednesday, which will be Wednesday, March 28th, between seeds 7 through 10, who qualify for the playoffs regardless of conference affiliation, and obviously the quarterfinals leading us all the way to the SFL championship game just a few weeks later. Curtis, thanks for being my partner here on this show. And that means we are just one step closer to SFL kickoff. We can't wait. Preseason schedule will be announced later this week, so stay tuned. Curtis, thanks so much for being here.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the SFL's special announcements. We leave you with an alternate version of our SFL theme song on Twitch to get you fired up for Season 10, presented by APM Music. Good night, everybody.